Hi, today I'm going to review the Sigma 10 to 18mm f2.8 for Fuji-X mount. This was recently released. It is the world's smallest constant aperture ultra-wide lens for mirrorless APS-C systems, and in this case, Fuji. Let's see which of these lenses are best for you. That's the reason why I'm including them, by the way, in this review, because you might think to buy the Fujinon, you might think to buy a Tamron or the Sigma, you're not sure. So that way we have a conclusive review of all three and we can see which one fits you the best. First off, this is a 10 to 18mm compared to Fuji 10 to 24mm and Tamron 11 to 20mm. So if you're someone that wants the versatility to zoom a lot, you should go with the Fuji because it will give you that extra range that Tamron does not give you. You only go up to 20. So if you want those extra 4mm and it makes a difference to you, then Fuji is the way to go. If you want something that's smaller and that starts at 10, but you don't want the extra bulk and you don't need the 24mm, then at that point, I would suggest you take the Sigma. The Sigma and the Tamron have a constant maximum aperture of f2.8 compared to the Fujinon that has an aperture of f4. That is one stop of maximum aperture less for the Fujinon. But the only reason why I could see it making a difference is when you do astrophotography, because otherwise when you're shooting wide, A, your lens is going to be more stable because that's the way it is when you shoot ultra wide, and B, you're most likely going to be on a tripod because you're shooting a group of people, which I don't advise because people on the side are going to start being distorted. But you know, if you're shooting architecture, if you're shooting a building, a landscape or whatnot, you can be on the tripod and you can lower your shutter speed and catch up on that stop of light that you're going to lose. The other thing is when you're shooting ultra wide, like for example 10 or 15, you are most likely not going to shoot at f2.8 or at f4. You're probably going to go up to f8 or f9, so you have a good depth of field. The minimum focusing distance of this Sigma 10 to 18mm is 11.6 centimeters. So that is a very short minimum focusing distance. In fact, I got real close, for example, in this photo to these stones. You can see the overall wider photo that I took about 1.20 meters away from them and real close. I was almost touching with the front of the lens. So you can get real close and you can do this sort of macro feature by doing so. The Sigma and the Tamron have the same filter thread of 67mm as compared to 72 for the Fujinon. So the front part of the lens is wider on the Fujinon. Let's talk weights. The Sigma weighs 248 grams as compared to the Tamron that weighs 334 grams and the Fujinon weighs 407 grams. The difference between the Sigma and the Fujinon is close to 150 grams, which is not a lot, but if you consider the fact that it is such a small package and you're anyways going to use a mirrorless camera, in this case a Fujifilm camera, it is good to remove any extra weight and any grams that you can take off so that you travel as small and lightweight as you can, and I think those 150 grams are going to make a big difference. The length of these lenses is very interesting. The Sigma 10 to 18mm measures 7.2 centimeters as compared to Fuji that measures 8.7 and Tamron that measures 8.6. So Tamron and Fuji are basically the same. I mean, if you put them side by side like this, you can see how Sigma stands out and how much shorter it is compared to the Tamron and to the Fujinon. There's a push-on pedal type of hood, which basically when you take the line on the side here and you align it, you just press it down and it's on. And to remove it, you just move it a little bit and take it off. That is an interesting feature design where you can just pop a hood on your lens. I don't dislike it. It makes it a little bit more compact. At least that's what Sigma says. That way they could streamline a little bit and reduce the extra length on this lens to keep it very, very short, even though it is already so small. It is weather sealed like for the other two lenses, so you're going to be able to go in dusty and or humid environments. In terms of image quality, which you might think maybe, you know, they sacrificed a little bit on the quality of the images because it is so small. Well, no, they didn't. There is a reduced flaring, ghosting, and chromatic aberration included in this lens, which makes it very similar to the other two. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I don't really see a difference between these three lenses in terms of image quality. Maybe Fuji is a little bit more saturated, but that's about it. And there's nothing you can fix in post if needed. I mean, I couldn't tell you which is which if you show me a photo, and I'm sure neither could you. Throughout this video, you saw some samples of this Sigma. And to be honest, it looks as good as the other two. Let's talk price. Tamron and the Sigma are very similar. They're in the 600 range, wherein the Fujinon is a little more expensive. We're more in the $800 to $900 range. Now, it's very hard for me to find exact prices because it changes and varies everywhere. Here in this English video, I'm making it based on B&H, but I'm sure in the US or wherever you're watching the video from, you can find good second-hand deals or even just good first-hand deals with, you know, special prices, Black Fridays around the corner and so forth. So I can't really tell you, but the Sigma and the Tamron are very close in price compared to the Fujinon. That's a little bit more expensive and premium. The build quality is very, very, very similar to the Tamron. I mean, they feel almost the same. Lots and lots of plastic, a little bit of aluminum as compared to the Fujinon. That's a Fuji lens and it has a lot of metal. And the build quality, I think a Fuji really has the upper hand here compared to the other two. So overall, I think the biggest reason why you would go with Fuji is because you like Fuji being a Fuji original lens, and because of its build quality. I mean, I had this is the original first version of this 10 to 24 mil that I didn't change for the new one that's weather sealed and so forth, but it has been with me as one of my first lenses since 2016, so it's been a long time, and I've been using it for most of my real estate shoots and, you know, nature and so forth, and it never gave me any issue whatsoever. The other reason why you would take the Fuji is because it goes all the way to 24, and it's the one that has the widest range out of the bunch. While Sigma starts at 10, like Fuji, it ends at 18. And while the Tamron ends at 20, it starts at 11. In terms of size, I would definitely advise you to take the Sigma because for a maximum aperture of f2.8, 10 to 18 mil, it covers pretty much anything you would need a wide angle lens for, all the focal range that you would need. And the Tamron is a very good lens as well if you need that extra bit more and you would rather have a couple millimeters more and lose one compared to the Sigma. I am pretty surprised and good once again from Sigma, what they're doing. I think they're giving us a lot of great alternatives for great price, and there is a lot of quality and a lot of good stuff in there. Because I mean, if you ever get the chance to take this in your hand and you know, try it on your camera, you will see how small and how lightweight this little guy is. It is just amazing to see how they managed to compress all that into such a small form factor. Should you change if you have a Fujinon or a Tamron? Honestly, I don't think so. I think they're very, very similar. Like I said, in terms of quality, in terms of aesthetics, the weight is similar. I would not spend the extra money to get the Sigma. If you do not have any of these though, I would highly suggest you take a look at this new Sigma. I see you in my next video. Take care. Subscribe if you like my content, and I see you very soon. Keep taking wide angle shots. Cheers.